Family Planning by Karan Mahajan. Chapter 1. Question Hour. Obviously, Mr. Ahuja, Minister of Urban Development, couldn't tell his son that he was only attracted to Mrs. Ahuja when she was pregnant. That he liked the smooth alien bulge of her stomach, or the tripled heartbeat when they made love, silently, shifting over each other. That the faint, fetal heartbeat ran under the speeding pulses of man and wife, calming him, holding him back from instant climax. Or even more fantastically how, at times, he could imagine the unborn eyes of the fetus watching him, pleading for another sibling, begging, sobbing, moaning through the parched throat of his wife. It was morning, and Mr. Ahuja waited at the bus stop with his eldest son, Arjun. The sun swung over Delhi like a fiery wrecking ball, the entire city exploding with mirages and reflections that hurt the eye. Marutis and Toyotas and ambassadors glittering by at top speed in their metallic finery. Clouds heaping in cumulus shelves overhead, the chalky pavements dizzying under eddies of dust. At least Mr. Ahuja was in the shade, under a tree, with Arjun. The middle-aged minister was becoming hard of hearing. The traffic on Modi Estate Road came to him like the indistinct whir of a waterfall. But oh yes, he had heard Arjun's question. And the question was, "Papa, I don't understand. Why do you and Mama keep having babies?" The boy had been as discreet as the bus stop would allow. He had waited for his other siblings, Rita, Sahil, Rahul, Varun, Tanya, Anisha, Rishi, to leave. And then he had walked up to his Papa who insisted on seeing off the 8 of his 13 children who attended school every morning, and popped the question with the abruptness of a coin toss in a cricket match. The words were said. Arjun turned away jauntily, thrust his fingers into his torn pockets and scratched his hairy thigh. His white school pants were too short. They rode up around his ankles. Now, both Mr. Ahuja and Arjun saw the Delhi Transport Corporation school bus floating on a cool mirage of leaking oil and blazing road. Time was running out. In the end, all things considered, Mr. Ahuja decided he could not let the bus win. So he said, "Son, I told you about the Yogaraj Commission findings, correct? Then? You know I'm not a fanatic, but findings were 100% clear. We need more Hindus in India." "So we're just a political course for you?" asked Arjun, twisting his neck to peer sidelong at his father. "No, son, but you know how it is. These Muslims have so many wives, and their families keep growing, and what are we Hindus? Do you even know my name?" Arjun asked. "Son." With a tragic swing of the school bag, Arjun boarded the bus and was gone. The bus accelerated heavily onto the road. The children leaned into the aisles, their water bottles swung in the air, briefly unanchored, sloshing. As Arjun scanned the lolling heads for a seat, he wished he had learned to mutter under his breath, "Goddamn politicians want goddamn Hindus, goddamn fuck!" Then again, the skill was practically useless in his house, where even the most regular conversation with his half-deaf Papa was, to Papa, a muttering under the breath. What luck, though. The only vacant seat was next to Aarti. She was a girl from the neighbouring convent of Jesus and Mary, a girl he liked enough to brave the usual heckling that burst from the back of the bus when he talked to a girl, even though he was 16. Today, the hecklers seemed hungover. Aarti closed the Pradeep's physics guide she was reading, and they began talking. They talked about this, that, Bryan Adams, this, that, Bryan Adams' evergreen classic, Summer of '69. Wasn't he wonderfully throaty? Had she seen the new Bombay concert video? And what about that superb line when he said, "Standing at your mama's porch, you told me it'd last forever. It was the summer of '69. What was he talking about? His lost childhood, or his gained virility? But really, Arjun wished he could tell her how he hated the daily morning bus-stop ritual. All 8 kids trooped out onto the sidewalk by a man who couldn't hear anything. The 8 kids now splitting into a
Sample complete. Ready to continue?